when looking for a town to stay at for my weekend off. I wanted something that was beautiful, but not expensive. After hours of searching the internet, I came across a small city named Heaven's Acres. From the photos, it looked beautiful. Plus the house I was thinking of staying at was right on the beach. I decided to book it, and the next day, I drove out. The drive was long and silent, but whenever I arrived at the house, I knew I had made the right decision. Upon entering it, I noticed it had some rather interesting decorations. There were animal skulls hung on the walls, and the carpet seemed to be made of some unique kind of leather. But the most lovely part about it was the balcony looking over the beach. I was a little surprised at the fact that I was the only one there. This was the perfect season to go swimming, yet the rest of the houses seemed completely empty. I ignored the obvious red flags and went into town to get some food. The grocery store's aisles were empty as well, and once I approached the cashier, I noticed she had a gigantic smile on her face. Her name tag read, Alice. "Slow day, right?" I asked as she checked out my items. She didn't reply, but her smile seemed frozen on her face. The rest of my transaction went quietly, until we made eye contact. Her mouth opened, but her eyes felt like they were disconnected from the rest of her face. The words, "Where are you staying?" left her mouth. I smiled politely and told her I was staying at the cute little pink house right on the beach. Instead of maintaining her smile, her face fell and she looked around nervously. She began muttering something, but it was hard to make out. "You need to leave. You need to leave right away." I gave her a confused look. "Excuse me?" Her eyes wouldn't stop moving, until something in her seemed to snap. In the blink of an eye, she was back to the weird state from before. With a creepy smile back on her face, she gave me one last warning. There's a reason no one's staying on that beach. I took my grocery bags and left as quickly as possible. By the time I'd gotten back, the sun was slowly going down, so I decided to have a picnic while watching the sunset. The scenery was beautiful, yet I couldn't get out of my mind what Alice said. Why would anyone avoid a place so alluring? That's when I saw something weird. On the beach, there was a pier in the distance. It seemed like somewhere people would fish, but at the moment, all I could see was the silhouette of a woman by herself. I watched her while eating my sandwich. It was a weird sight to witness. She stood there until the sun was completely set. Then suddenly, my stomach dropped as I watched her jump off, her body falling into the ocean. Without thinking, I jumped into the cold water to try and save her. I opened my eyes underneath the water to try and find her, but instead of rescuing her, I saw something much more horrifying. At first sight, you might have thought it was a human. It had humanoid features, but his eyes were pitch black, and it was so skinny his ribcage was visible. I tried swimming back to the surface for air, but I felt claws rip into my skin and pull me back down. No matter how hard I struggled, I couldn't make it back to the top. It felt like I was gonna run out of oxygen any second. And looking down at it, I knew this wasn't gonna be a happy ending. I pulled my leg up with as much force as possible, and kicked her arm off my leg. After I was free, I swam back to the shore the fastest I'd ever swam in my life. Laying on the sand, I realized why Alice told me I needed to leave. In the middle of catching my breath, I could smell smoke in the air. Looking back at the beach, I saw 4 people standing around a bonfire with animal skulls on. I didn't stay there long enough to see what they were planning, and rushed up to the house before they could see me. The whole night, I kept feeling paranoid while looking at the door, and the weird animal skulls on the walls didn't ease my fear either. After bandaging up my leg, I decided to search up the beach and find out what those things out there really were. Nothing showed up when I googled Heaven's Acres, so I searched up drowned victims on Heaven Acres, and tons of missing people came up. That's how I knew this place wasn't normal.